There's this really popular idea, especially in tech circles, right?
To simulation theory.
Exactly, the simulation theory that reality is basically just code running on some, cosmic hard drive.
Hmm.
But I was reading through the source material for today, and it takes that idea and just spins it. It offers something I think even wilder.
Oh, yeah.
It's saying the universe isn't a computer simulation, it's a consciousness projection.
So if consciousness is strong, the universe is big and stable.
Right. But if consciousness were to just vanish, the whole thing, stars, galaxies, this microphone, it all just blinks out of existence.
That is a terrifying, but I have to say, a fascinating premise. It makes the observer... Well, the observer isn't just watching the show, they're holding up the building.
Yes. And we're not pulling this from some sci-fi novel. We're diving into a text that is, well, it's hard to categorize, really.
We'll get called.
It's titled 800-401-500, which I know it sounds like a part number, but these are excerpts from the New Era Human 800 Concepts. It's dense, it's philosophical, and it's so specific.
Specific is definitely the word for it. This isn't your vague, love is the answer or spirituality. This text lays out a mechanical, almost structural universe.
And it's all centered on a figure it calls the greatest creator.
Right. And I think that's what makes this so interesting for a deep dive. It's trying to bridge the gap between hard physics-like matter, antimatter, energy, and metaphysics.
It definitely bridges them. I'm just not sure a standard physicist would recognize the bridge.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm looking at our outline here. We've got artificial moons that are actually garages. We have a literal geography of the afterlife measured in light years.
And a moral system based on, of all things, thermodynamics.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. But I think our mission today is to just treat it as a coherent system. We're not here to fact-check the astrophysics. We're here to understand the worldview.
Okay, so if you accept the premise...
If you accept that the greatest creator designed it all this way, then what are the rules of the game? And maybe more importantly, how do you win?
Right. And the game, it seems, starts with the origin story. The text has a real bone to pick with the Big Bang Theory.
It rejects it completely. Item 402 says the origin was Wuji begetting Taiji.
Which, for anyone who's not familiar with Taoism...
Wuji is the primordial void, chaos, no time, no space. And Taiji is the emergence of order. But the text says this wasn't an accident. It was a willful act of consciousness.
So in the beginning there was thought.
Consciousness from the greatest creator. The text actually lists three fundamental elements: consciousness, structure, and energy.
Okay.
And it creates a kind of hierarchy. It says the universe exists for life, and life exists for the universe. It's symbiotic.
Which implies the universe isn't just some cold, dead place where life just happened to show up.
Exactly. It implies the conditions were set for us. It's a totally anthropic universe. And it gets really bold when it zooms in on our solar system.
I love this part. It claims our solar system isn't random at all.
No, it views it as a specifically designed service provider for humans on Earth.
A service provider, like
Right.
a cosmic utility company.
In a way, yeah. But the part of the service package that usually stops people in their tracks is the moon.
Oh, the moon. This is where I actually had to put my coffee down. Item 407.
Go ahead.
The text just states, flat out, the moon is not a natural celestial body. It calls it a warehouse.
A manufactured warehouse.
And when you hear artificial moon, you think, I don't know, Death Star or something. But it gets so specific about what's inside. It says the moon is used to store flying saucers.
It does, which is its explanation for UFOs. They're not from another galaxy.
They're local.
They're local. They are tools stored in the moon, used by these higher-level beings, celestials, to, monitor and maintain Earth.
So it basically rebrands aliens as the intergalactic maintenance crew.
That's a perfect way to put it. They're not invaders. They're groundskeepers.
Yeah.
They launch from the garage on the moon, check on the crop, which is us, and then head back.
And it even mentions a specific entry point on Earth.
The Bermuda Triangle. It describes a huge palace under the water there.
Yeah.
But it sounds less like a palace and more like a corporate hotel, a temporary residence for celestials when they're on a job.
It's surprisingly bureaucratic. You've got the garage, the hotel, the work site. It paints this picture of a universe that's being actively managed.
But managed for what? And to answer that, we have to look at the map the text provides, which talks about parallel worlds.
20 of them.
20. And it distinguishes them using a coordinate system, which is just fascinating. It's almost mathematical.
It calls our world, the human world, the Eichsee world.
Right. Like a 2D graph.
Yeah.
Length and width, the surface. But then it introduces the negative universe.
And we should probably pause here because negative is a really loaded word.
It is. People might get hung up on that.
Yeah, in physics, antimatter goes boom when it touches matter. In pop culture, negative means, bad vibes.
But that is not what the text means here at all. Think of it more like the negative of a photograph, or like yin in yin and yang. It just means the invisible, the spiritual.
The non-material.
Exactly. So the positive universe is everything you can touch, rocks, water, your body. The negative universe is everything else, thoughts, consciousness, spirits.
So positive is the hardware, negative is the software.
That's a perfect analogy. And a human being is a hybrid device. Your body is the positive hardware, but your soul, or what the text calls your antimatter structure, is the negative software.
Antimatter structure. It sounds like we're building a skyscraper out of ghosts.
In a way we are. And the text says that's the whole point of being alive. The hardware, the body, it's going to break down, it dies.
Right.
But the software, the antimatter structure, that can be perfected. That can become eternal.
So the goal is to upload your software to a better server before the hardware crashes.
That's it. But there's a firewall. And that firewall is time.
This section was a trip. Item 428 calls time an antimatter recording instrument.
Yeah, it sees time as a variable, not a constant. It says it could be compressed, expanded, or, this is the key to everything, it could be made to vanish.
Transverse time.
Yes. The higher parallel worlds exist in transverse time, which is basically a state where linear time just stops. A few seconds, there could be thousands of years here on Earth.
So if you escape the day-to-day flow of time, you enter eternity.
You've got it.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to the greatest creator. Because someone had to write this code. The text uses the word Tao a lot and equates it to the creator's consciousness.
It calls the Tao the blood of the universe, like an operating system running in the background.
Right. And there was one mathematical metaphor in there that I think is really worth digging into.
10 minus 9 equals 1.
10 minus 9 equals the Tao.
I stared at that for a while. I mean, mathematically, it's simple. But philosophically...
So the 10 represents complexity. It's the 10,000 things of the material world. Your job, your worries, your social media feed. The 10 is the noise.
Okay, so what's the 9?
The 9 is the act of subtraction. The text says to find the 1, which is the Tao, the truth, you don't add anything. You don't learn more or buy more. You have to subtract. You discard the 9.
So enlightenment isn't accumulation. It's decluttering.
It's about singular focus. And that idea leads right into the other big physics concept in the text.
The law of causality, or as it calls it, the zero energy balance.
This is fascinating. It takes karma, which can feel a bit mystical, and it turns it into a hard equation.
How so?
It claims the total energy of the universe must always equal 0. Positive and negative have to balance. So if you gain something in the material world, the positive world, say you steal money, you create an imbalance.
And the universe has to correct it.
It must balance the equation. So you will lose something from the negative world. You lose spiritual mass. You've created a debt.
That's terrifying. It means getting away with it is physically impossible. You might dodge the law, but you can't dodge the physics of the greatest creator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you really understand this, integrity just becomes a form of self-preservation. You wouldn't harm someone because you know you're just robbing your own spiritual bank account.
So if we follow these rules, subtract the noise, balance our energy, what's the end game? The text says the goal is to become a celestial or a Shian, but it draws a really sharp line between a celestial and a Buddha.
It does, and that's pretty unique. Usually they're kind of grouped together, but here the distinction is work versus play.
It says Buddhas have jobs, responsibilities.
Right. Buddhas are wise, but they're still working. They're helping other beings, managing the spiritual ecosystem.
Yeah.
But celestials, the text calls them the greatest creator's pets.
I have to be honest, if someone called me a pet, I'd probably be offended. It sounds kind of diminishing.
I thought that too at first. But think about it like this. A working dog versus a beloved house cat. The dog has a purpose, sure, but the cat...
The cat has total freedom.
Total, absolute freedom. It's loved and protected just for existing. It doesn't have to earn its keep.
So being a pet of the creator means you've graduated beyond the need to work.
Precisely. It says, how to play is their only concern. The highest state of being is in power or responsibility. It's just Pure, unadulterated joy.
Okay, that does sound a lot better than celestial middle management, but obviously you don't just walk into that life. The prerequisites are steep.
Extremely. You have to escape what the text calls mental Egypt, the Egypt of the heart.
A biblical reference to slavery.
Yeah, but here, the Pharaoh isn't a person. The Pharaoh is your attachment to the material world. It lists things like jealousy and anger, but it also lists things we hold dear. Nationality, politics, religion.
Wait, religion is a chain.
In this worldview, yes, because religion is a label, a boundary. It's I am this, you are that. To be a celestial, you have to be universal. You belong to the greatest creator, not a specific group.
It also mentions a concept called self-consistency.
This is the antidote to loneliness. It means you are a complete ecosystem in yourself. You don't need external validation. You don't need a partner or a compliment to feel whole.
That is a high bar. I mean, most of us can't sit still for 5 minutes without checking our phones for a dopamine hit.
Which is exactly why most of us are stuck in the Ixie world. We're dependent.
But let's say we make it. We escape mental Egypt. We achieve self-consistency. Where do we go? The text gives us this shockingly precise travel brochure for the afterlife.
It really does treat it like geography.
Yeah.
The first stop is the Millennium World.
Okay, give us the specs on that one.
Location: 960 light years away. Size: 10 times larger than Earth. And as the name says, you live there for 1,000 years.
And this is for who, exactly?
The good people, the ones who have dropped the selfishness. It's a peaceful world. No war, no lawyers, but it's still temporary.
Okay, so what's level 2, the 10,000-year world?
Now we're going further out, 3,480 light years away. This place is 16 times bigger than Earth, and get this, it has 16 suns.
16 suns, you'd never sleep.
You wouldn't need to. It's a realm of high energy, and the prerequisite for this one is very specific. This is for the immortals who have mastered the technique of dreaming.
Okay, we have to talk about dreaming in a second. But first, the penthouse suite, the top level.
Elysium, the Celestial Islands, described as the greatest creator's back garden.
The scale of this just breaks my brain a little.
It says there are 80 billion islands, each one the size of Earth. And the kicker, 50 billion of them are currently empty.
50 billion empty Earths, just waiting.
Waiting. The text says each celestial gets their own island. You are the sovereign of an entire world.
That sounds kind of lonely.
Only if you lack self-consistency, remember. If you're self-consistent, you don't feel loneliness, you feel sovereignty. The point is absolute freedom.
It really puts our little real estate battles down here in perspective, doesn't it?
It does. We're fighting over square footage when there are entire planets available for free. You could just clean up your soul.
So how do we know if we're on the right track? We can't exactly look in the mirror and see our antimatter structure.
But the text gives us a hack, a diagnostic tool.
The dream test.
The dream test. Item 488. This is one of the most provocative parts of the whole text. It claims that when you sleep, your consciousness is actually operating in that antimatter realm. So your dreams are a progress report.
A spiritual report card.
Exactly. And there are two main passing grades. First, color.
Okay.
It implies that if your spirit is low energy, your dreams will be black and white or gray and murky. But if you're evolving spiritually, your dreams should be in vivid technicolor.
So if I'm dreaming in film noir, I've got some work to do. What's the second one?
Motion, specifically flight. It asks, do you dream of walking and running, or do you dream of flying?
And not on a plane.
No, unassisted flight, soaring, diving, floating through walls. The text says that feeling of flying in a dream is the feeling of your antimatter spirit breaking free from gravity. It's a sign you're getting ready for that 10,000-year world.
And if I'm dreaming about being chased or being stuck in mud?
That's a sign of turbid energy. You're still weighed down. Anxiety, debt, fear. Your spirit is too heavy to fly.
It's a fascinating inversion. We always tell people, stop dreaming, face reality. This text says, no, your waking reality is the illusion. Your dreams are the truth.
It forces you to take your subconscious seriously. If you aren't flying in your sleep, you're carrying too much luggage during the day. You need to do more 10-9.
So if we strip away the 16 suns and the saucer garages, the core message is actually pretty simple.
It is. It's all about refinement. It argues we're in a temporary training ground. The whole game of society, money, status, power is just a distraction to test us.
The real game is internal.
The real game is refining that antimatter structure until it's light enough to just float away from the illusion and join the creator's ecosystem of joy.
It turns life into a chrysalis phase. We're just caterpillars arguing over who has the best leaf, not realizing the whole point is to become a butterfly and leave the garden.
And according to this text, those 50 billion empty islands are waiting for the butterflies.
So here's a challenge for you tonight. When you turn off this deep dive and you go to bed, just pay attention. When you close your eyes, what do you see?
Is it a gray, anxious replay of your day? Or are you soaring over an ocean in high-definition color?
And if you aren't flying yet, ask yourself, what 9 are you holding on to that you need to subtract?
That's the question.
Thanks for taking this trip through the cosmos, the antimatter universe, and the mind of the greatest creator with us.
See you in the next parallel world.
Deep dive out.